Bro, imagine spending millions launching a product, watching it get absolutely buried online, and then having your own co-founder pull up to tell you it's your fault. That's exactly what happened between MrBeast and KSI. And the way it went down is not what anyone expected. There's a moment in this story where Jimmy basically draws a line in the sand. And once you hear it, everything about Lunchly starts making a lot more sense. Stay with me, because we're going all the way back to the beginning before we get there. So if you somehow missed the Lunchly era, here's the quick version. MrBeast, KSI, and Logan Paul come together and announce they're launching a lunch kit to go head-to-head with Lunchables. On paper, no cap, this should have been unstoppable. Prime had already proven that KSI and Logan could build a drink brand from scratch and turn it into something massive. Feastables had done the same thing in the chocolate space for Jimmy. So a lunch kit with all three names on it felt like a guaranteed hit before a single box ever hit a shelf. The marketing was aggressive too. They weren't just saying Lunchly was a solid alternative. They were out here claiming it was the healthier option, the smarter choice, the thing parents should actually feel good about putting in their kids' lunchbox. Real cheese, better electrolytes, more vitamins. They were coming for Lunchable's neck directly, and they wanted everyone to know it. And then everything started going sideways. Fast. DanTDM, of all people, is the one who lit the match. One tweet, no lengthy thread, no drama bait, just a clean call out saying, "This is selling stuff to make money. Full stop." And the kids buying it trust these creators more than they should. The internet went insane. Support poured in from every direction, and suddenly, Lunchly wasn't just a lunch kit anymore. It was a referendum on whether massive creators should be marketing food products to children at all. KSI's response? Bro went to war. Days of tweets, a full video, digging up DanTDM's old sponsorships, trying to say Dan was no different. And here's where it gets crazy, because that counterattack made things so much worse. Everyone could see the difference immediately. Dan promoting sweets as sweets is not the same as three creators telling parents this is the healthy lunch choice. KSI basically highlighted the exact problem people were already upset about, and Dan didn't even have to respond. He just went quiet, posted some family photos months later with the caption, "Living the dream." And that silence hit harder than any clapback ever could have.
I literally cannot make this up. People are starting to find mold inside of their Lunchlies. This is definitely not the best look for MrBeast, Logan Paul, and KSI, so pretty much a mother decided to get a Lunchly for her son, and when he went to go open it up, he noticed a really bad smell, and then he looked in the cheese, and as you can see right there, I circled it for all of you, that right there, the little green specks, that is mold. Here's a closer look for all of you. Like, there's no denying this is 100% mold, and apparently this mother also stated that it was properly refrigerated at the store that they bought it at, and when they got home they immediately opened it and noticed this issue. So no one really understands how this happened to begin with, but once again, this is definitely not a good look at all. Thankfully, this mother's son did not eat the cheese, or else he would have gotten very sick, so hopefully this does not become a trend with Lunchly to have mold inside of its cheese, because it is real cheese, and real cheese does get pretty moldy very fast. So I guess we're just going to have to wait and see if this becomes a trend. And if you buy Lunchly, just check and make sure there is no mold in your cheese. And I'm definitely really curious to know your thoughts about all this.
But wait for it, because the tweet drama was nothing compared to what came next. Once Lunchly actually hit shelves, creators started buying it to review it. Rosanna Pansino opens a box, fresh from the store, not expired, and finds a ton of mold sitting inside a product that was supposed to be the healthy alternative for kids. The clip spread everywhere. Then more creators posted the same thing. Then someone walks into a Target on Valentine's Day, films the entire Lunchly section, and every single box is moldy. Not one or two, all of them. Still within date. The response from the founders was essentially, manufacturing issues. We're improving over time. And look, maybe that's technically true, but it completely missed why people were furious.
Got discontinued. Okay? And yeah, it was because of the molded cheese. So yeah, if you haven't been paying attention like I have, and this has just been blowing up lately, yeah, Lunchly got discontinued because their launch was so abysmal. It went below even their worst estimations. Okay? Apparently, on the corporate side of this, the launch of Lunchly was so much worse than they ever expected that the company that they were teaming up with for Lunchly literally said, "Hey, out now, we're not doing this." And here's the thing, dude. Everything that could have gone wrong went wrong. You got memed on so hard that it became a meme to hate on it. Like, it wasn't like the Talk to a podcast where people are aware that that is a brain rot incarnate into a podcast of the likes that makes the JRE look like a meeting between Plato and Socrates. But people still listen to the Talk to a podcast for the meme of it. The Lunchly Like, nobody really liked the Lunchables until Lunchly came out.
You don't get to market something as the better choice for children and then ask for grace when moldy boxes are sitting on shelves next to the kids' cereal. The margin for error there is zero. Here's where it gets really interesting, because behind the scenes, according to reports and comments that have since surfaced, Jimmy was not happy with how the rollout was being handled. And this is the part most recap videos completely skip over. MrBeast had built his entire brand on a very specific thing: genuine value for the audience. That is the foundation everything Feastables stood on. And Lunchly, with the mold controversy and the aggressive health claims and the backlash from people like DanTDM, was starting to sit very uncomfortably next to that reputation. The confrontation between Jimmy and KSI reportedly wasn't a public blowup. It was quieter than that. But the tension over who was responsible for the product quality failures and the marketing direction was real. And Jimmy made it clear that whatever happened next, his name was not going to stay attached to something that kept embarrassing him in front of an audience he'd spent a decade building trust with. So here's where Lunchly actually sits right now. KSI keeps saying it's doing well in the background, quietly thriving, turned from a meme into something people just buy. But no one can point to a single person genuinely eating it unprompted. The shelves are always stocked. It keeps showing up in discount bins. The X account has been silent for months. The real story of Lunchly isn't just a bad product launch. It's what happens when you build a brand on trust, point it directly at children, promise something you can't deliver, and then watch your own co-founders start distancing themselves when the heat gets too high. Jimmy built his whole career on never doing that. And in the end, that's exactly what the Lunchly fallout proved.
Yeah, on the mold thing, here's the thing. We, every single Lunchly with cheese meat is USDA inspected. There is no mold when it leaves our factory. Yeah. Like, we have the highest QC standards imaginable. Like, what do we have? Why would we ship that out? Like, that doesn't even make sense. You know what I mean? And we obviously have the best experts in the world. I mean, even once these things come out, I mean, we brought even more. They're pouring up and down the lines, making sure everything's good. It's just, the thing is, here's a context a lot of people leave out. Look at, I don't want to name specific brands but take a specific brand that comes into your mind when you think of something like Lunchly, something that's very similar, specific brand, I don't know, other brands, competitors, and Google their name and put the word mold behind it. You'll see thousands upon thousands of examples. And that, I think, is a key context a lot of people leave out in this, because they're acting like this is just the thing with us. Once it leaves your factory, you know, a truck that's delivering it could technically take a sharp turn and a box fall and puncture the seal. Or honestly, even something as dumb as, like, when it's put on the shelves at the store, like, I can't stop someone.
Anyway, this concludes today's video. Be sure to subscribe to LoafTube for future celebrity videos, and turn on that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any future uploads. Until then, see you in the next one.